So we both watched My Hero Academia, the movie, Two Heroes. I don't know if I said that right.
Something like that. So this is the first of two My Hero Academia movies. And okay, so where I wanted to start with this one is, what is your experience level with the series? Just to give ourselves some qualifications before we dive into this. So we'll start with you, Jeremy. What was your introduction to the series? We'll start there.
Oh, I've been watching the series week by week since the middle of season 2.
Okay.
So like I shotgunned the whole first season, loved it, watched everything that was out in the second season. I've been watching it as it comes out since.
Okay, and you're all caught up on the series?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you dabbled in the manga at all?
No.
Okay. So I've watched
I like my pictures to move.
I've watched the entire series a couple times through because I watched it. I viewed the entire series myself, and then I introduced my wife to this series via this movie. She ended up liking this movie, so we went back, and she is now caught up completely. I, on the other hand, since I enjoyed it so much, I've been reading ahead in the manga, which $1.99 a month on the Shonen Jump app, you can read any of the manga, which is, it's an insane deal, and especially in COVID times. $1.99, you can literally read all of the chapters of all of the Shonen Jump comic books that have ever come out.
I mean, that's pretty close. I mean, that's pretty comparable to the deal they have for anime on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't remember the price of it.
$5, right?
Yeah, it's a good service as far as I can tell.
Yeah, the only reason I don't do Crunchyroll is because I am a dub-only purist, and Crunchyroll has so much sub that I just can't sift through it. So I have Funimation.
Yeah, I like to shotgun my series. So if I watch something and I want to see the rest of it, if it's part of it's in dub and I don't hate the original Japanese voices, I'll switch to sub.
Yeah.
And then some of them, I like the original voices better. I think One Piece is an example where I didn't like it in English.
Yeah, because freaking Usopp's voice is terrible.
They switched all the guns to slingshots.
Did they really?
And they switched Sanji's cigarette to like a lollipop.
Oh, that's in the 4Kids. In the one on Funimation.
Yeah. Oh, is there another one where they don't make all those changes?
Yes.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay, yeah, on Funimation he has a cigarette.
I'm not watching all 700 episodes again.
One thing I wanted to say about the series is, I think like a year or two ago at this point, I tried the series. People were recommending it to me. And Deku was such like a pansy in the beginning that I bailed. I bailed so quickly. And something told me, maybe it was with, maybe I was bored. I don't know. But I went back to it.
I mean, because it opened up pretty well. Like, it's episode 1 where he runs up and tries to claw his friend out of like the giant slime monster.
But he's like crying all the time and stuff. And I just got so annoyed with it. So I bailed. Then I came back and I fell in love with the series. And to your point about starting something in dub and switching to sub, I would rather start in dub and switch to the manga. That's about where I'm at this point. So
weird.
Yeah. Who is your favorite character? Who's your favorite male character?
I think my favorite male character is the main character.
Deku?
Yeah, I'm just basic like that.
Yeah. How about female?
Probably the chick that can like make stuff with.
Oh yeah, Yaoyorozu.
Creation magic. Yeah, she's just like, I want an umbrella. She just pulls it out of her fucking neck.
Yeah.
I'm like,
okay,
that's
fair.
the one that like, I wonder if she could counterfeit money. Like, she can make a gun. I bet she can make money.
Yeah. You're gonna find this out very soon, but my favorite male character used to be Mineta, who was the little short guy with the purple balls. Because I'm into this show for like, I mean, it can get dark, and it does get really dark, especially with the overhaul arc.
Yeah.
But I really love his comic relief, and it's so funny. He's just such a dirty pervert, and they just treat him as such, so it works like it just gels. My favorite character overall is Froppy, who's the frog chick. I love her. She's best girl.
Okay.
So yeah. But my favorite character, it used to be Mineta, but it's so you've watched all the way through. It's Lemillion. I love that dude. The dude with the weird eyes that can like phase through shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my boy. But you know, he's not in it very much, and he's not in this movie. So we'll move on. All right. So the synopsis for this movie.
Well, before we get into the movie, I want to talk a little bit about the world because we never talked about it before. But in the series and also in this movie, there are large amounts of times where people are, running away. It's Godzilla! Basically, people are running through the crowds. Godzilla does show up in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really weird. Like, they talk about how 80% of people have quirks, but you never see crowds of people using their quirks. There should be, like, one guy who's, like, Go-Go Gadget running around with spring legs or something.
Right.
Like, everyone is either a hero, a villain, or a pedestrian. Like, what? It's a little disappointing when they talk about this world, that world, but they narrate world building, but they don't actually put any effort into building the world.
Sure.
Like, I mean, there should be like security guards, like checking people to make sure their ability isn't set off by someone else's ability in the area. Like a pharmacist looks at your 2 drugs to make sure your Vicodin doesn't mix up with your birth control or whatever.
Yeah.
They should have that in public places for like people with quirks. Like, oh, this can't leave this guy downwind of the rock monster. He'll turn him into diamonds, and then everyone nearby is gonna get a headache.
Right.
And also, like, when a crowd is being threatened, like 40% of the crowd should have a quirk that they at least panic use. Like, the guy who like makes bread come out of his ears is just like, it throws a roll at him and runs. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the weird things. If the percentages were flipped and it was 20% of the population had quirks, quirk, by the way, is a superpower. Essentially, it's a special ability you're born with. You manifest it around like toddler age. But if the percentages were flipped, all that would make sense. But with 80% having a quirk, you'd think they'd have like every 2 blocks would be some superpowered individual who could protect them. It's like.
Yeah,
but then again,
someone would turn into like a flame monster and fly away. Someone would like turn into straw and jump down a manhole cover. There'll be just random bullshit happening all the time. Someone else would like teleport to the nearest car because they can control Mazdas or whatever.
Yeah. But then again, not all quirks are super.
Right, you know but if there's like 500 people, and 400 of them have.
We're gonna do math,
and it's really simple math.
Yeah.
If there are 500 people on this one area running away, and 400 of them have a superpower, at least 5% of them should have a superpower that they either usefully use or maybe they panic and use it. Like if you can like squirt water out of your hands, maybe you do that in a panic. Like if you're holding something in your hands and like someone scares you, you might hit them with it, right?
Yeah.
So I think like if you had the ability to like I'm just trying to come up with the most random abilities ever because I feel like those would be the ones that don't use it every day to day. So like if your ability is to like make your ears glow or something like that, you might do it like when someone scares you or shoots a missile at you.
Right.
And you never see any of that. The cops never use their quirks. Now, the hand-wavy explanation is that it's illegal to use your quirks. In the show, it's like, oh, you're in trouble for using your quirk. You should have let all those people die.
Right.
And like, oh, I'm sorry for not letting those people die. It won't happen again. Then it happens again.
Imagine like your quirk was that you like, I don't know, turned a like purple or something when you got an erection. It's like
it seems like some of the quirks are just terribly bad. Like that one guy's a gopher.
Yeah.
Like his quirk is just he's a gopher.
Yep.
My quirk is smelling bad. Don't leave me downwind of your friends. Yeah, so I mean, but I would have expected to see a lot more quirks that aren't very useful, like Minosa, the guy with the short guy with the sticky hair.
Yeah,
Like
Mineta.
he's a good example of like a quirk that you wouldn't see like on an X-Men movie, but it kind
Right.
of fits if things are happening randomly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my boy right there.
Yeah, so but I mean the hand wavy thing is that it's illegal. So yeah, everyone's just gonna risk their life to avoid getting a ticket. Also,
Yep.
that's one hell of an abridgment of like your freedoms. They're like, no, you're not allowed to use your quirk at all. It's just against the rules. Like, go fuck yourself. You're not the boss of me. Maybe it's just the American in me, but I'm sorry. I thought this was America. It's not
Right.
America, but we do have the Detroit Smash.
That's true. That's another thing that's weird about All Might, right? About the story and everything.
Yeah.
All of them are based on states, right?
Well,
Except
no, some of them
Detroit.
are based on cities.
Which ones? Just
Detroit.
Detroit.
I think there's also like a Chicago pile driver or something like that.
Oh, not to my. There's like Carolina. There's Texas.
Okay, Carolina isn't a state. Carolina is two states.
Yeah, there you go. So it's a double smash.
List of what's
All Might.
All Might's moves.
What's the main guy's name?
Deku or
Yeah.
Mineta? Yeah. Okay, one of them is called United
my
States
God.
of Smash.
So we're gonna have
But yeah, you're right. They're all states except for Detroit Smash and Double Detroit Smash.
double D smash. Yes.
There's a New Hampshire Smash.
Yep.
Missouri Smash.
Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe that's a translation thing, but
And then there's California Smash. Doo-doo-doo.
So,
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
one thing I just realized. So Jeremy watched this in sub. I watched it in dub. The names are going to be a bit different because for you his name is Mineta. And
Okay.
for me it's Mineta. Right?
Okay, but to be fair, I'm not very good at remembering names anyway.
I got you covered. So this
I don't remember the main character's actual name.
Izuku Midoriya.
Yeah, that's the same in that's what it is in the show.
Yeah,
So-
that one's an easy one. But okay. Anyways, so the synopsis of this movie is All Might and Deku accept an invitation to visit Eye Island, which is such a bad name, where they battle against the villain who takes the island hostage. So this island is essentially a floating, like, technical masterpiece. It says that they say right in the beginning that it can move, like it's powered.
it's a boat.
It's essentially a giant city boat that harnesses like the best technology in the world. So it's really cool. But Eye Island has no ring to it whatsoever. One of my biggest complaints about this movie. So the director is Kenji Nagasaki, writer Kohei Horikoshi, who writes the manga, and Yosuke Kuroda is the scriptwriter. I'm pretty sure I nailed all those three, so I'm just gonna pat myself on the back really quick.
Flawless.
Yeah. Chris Sabat is All Might, right? And his English voice is Roanora Zoro. Rowan, was it Roro? No, I always fuck this up. Roanoa Zoro. Is that how you say it?
You sound like Scooby Doo trying to talk. Ruh-roh.
Roro. He's also Vegeta and Piccolo from DBZ and Dragon Ball Super. This dude's pretty much like, his voice if you heard any English dub anime. Yeah. And he has a badass voice. But there's just a bunch of other people in here. That I have the list of the dub actors, but none of them really ring a bell. So Chris Sabat is the only one I wanted to bring up. All right, so let's get into it. Where do you want to start?
I guess one of my bugbears, and this is, I feel like all anime do this, where it's like the one of the characters goes somewhere, for a reason, and then by sheer coincidence, everyone from the show shows up at the same place for a series of increasingly unlikely coincidences.
Yep.
Which is, and you would think they would know about that since they had all seen each other the week before. Like, they're in the same dorm room.
Yeah.
They share a washing machine.
Yeah, you'd think you'd be like, oh, well, the only one who couldn't say anything was Deku because he wasn't supposed to be All Might's guest, and they never really get into.
They kind of hand wave that away. They don't even hand wave away. They just say, "Don't tell them I'm All Might's guest," and then none of their friends ask because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
No one on the show gives a shit about Deku.
Yeah.
Except for All Might. And does anyone else? I mean, I guess Bakugo is just always mad at him because he exists.
Yeah. So Mineta, Kaminari, and Ida are there as like employees. They're helping out there to get some money and some chicks, of course. Uraraka, Jiro, and
that's a weird
Momo.
thing, though, isn't it? Like, that's a weird thing, though, isn't it? Like, because as a student in the first class of the biggest hero school in the world, that would be like hiring, like that would be like hiring hiring a Heisman Trophy, not the winner of the Heisman Trophy, but someone who's in the running for it.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like hiring him to like sell hot dogs at the NBA stadium.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't do that.
NFL.
Yeah, okay.
Heisman Trophy's football. Sorry, had to throw that in on you.
I knew that, but I switched it because I don't know the prize you get for being the best basketball player.
Naismith?
What?
The Naismith Award?
Yeah, that doesn't ring a bell.
Sure. Yeah.
Did Michael Jordan get it?
Nope. Probably not.
Then it doesn't mean a damn thing. Let's move on from me mixing up my sports.
So those three names I just mentioned, they're there because Momo's parents are super rich, and they got invitations for her to bring two people with her to like the event opening. Bakugo is there because he won the tournament back in season 1.
Yeah, and Deku would have definitely known that the tournament winner gets invited to Island because it's his favorite place in the world, and he watches those tournaments and knows everyone who won every year.
Yep.
But we should probably throw a little bit of explain what I just said. Deku, one of his main characteristics, other than being the protagonist in an anime, is that he's a giant nerd about heroes. So he knows all the heroes' stats. He knows where they went to school. He knows the different costumes they made. He knows who made their costumes. Yeah. He's like a Star Trek nerd if Star Trek were real life.
Yeah, I forget we're not talking to an anime audience, so let's back it up a little bit more. So
I would wonder why they're watching us so far.
So Deku he's the main character. He didn't have a quirk when he was born, or did he? We'll get into that down the road at some point. So he spent his whole life, following as just the super nerd, super All Might nerd, but also all the other heroes. He knows like the 538th ranked hero, and he knows the quirks, and he's got a little notebook for everything.
Super fan.
Yeah, just like the biggest.
Memory.
Think about the biggest nerd of your favorite thing. Could be you, and that's what he is. Probably 10 times that.
Yeah, and he's also just like really smart, like 140 IQ walking around.
Yeah, and at one point during, I think it's even the first episode, he meets All Might. All Might saves him, and All Might tells him that his quirk was passed down. All Might's quirk was passed to him via unknown entity at this point, and All Might, since Deku tried to save Bakugo with no quirk whatsoever from this sludge monster thing, All Might decides that Deku's going to be the next holder of One for All, which is the quirk that All Might currently has. So that's why Deku's such a big fanboy, and also now has a quirk. So
I have a question. I don't remember if this was on the show or not. Do they tell you what All Might's quirk was before he became All Might?
Yes, they do.
What was it?
Nothing. He did not have a quirk. He's just like Deku.
Oh, what about the guy before him, Gran Turismo?
Gran Torino was not a holder of All for One. He was All Might's mentor. There was a lady that was All for One for All before him.
So do you have to be quirkless to become All for One? Become One for All?
Nope. We're starting to find out that in the manga, and the points that I'm reading, this is spoilers way ahead, that the All for One quirk stockpiled all of the previous users' quirks, so Deku's starting to get those powers too.
So wait,
which is really awesome.
Okay, well, don't tell me anything else. I want to watch it.
Yeah, but yeah, so
no spoilers.
Yeah, there's no
we're spoiling.
There's no requirement for being quirkless. The only requirement is that you, the current holder, has to pass it to somebody.
One of the plot of the movie is explained to us in the first 5 minutes when they tell us that there's never ever been a crime on Island. So of course you know shit's going down.
Damn well better.
It's like a movie where they show you a small flaw in a machine in a factory where it says 800 days since the last accident.
Yeah.
Like, you're about to see some 2012 shit go down.
Yep.
But this movie is a really good example of why. So let's talk a little bit about how it goes forward. They're in this. Why is Deku there? Like, I know he was invited by All Might, but like, I don't get why All Might wanted him to go.
Yeah, I don't really remember why Deku was there. It was all they say is you're my guest, and that's it. I guess we wouldn't really have a movie if he wasn't there.
Yeah, and I didn't really understand why All Might was there. Like, I know he wanted to visit his friend, but I feel like given his medical condition and the fact he's trying to keep it secret, maybe don't wander around a bunch of scientists.
So the thing that I think the reason is that Melissa, his daughter, gave him the invitation so that they could surprise the dad. I think that's why he came.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, of course, he'd want to stay out of the public as much as he can, because what is it at this point? He can hold that form for like 30 minutes or something like that.
Well, this is early in the series. I think he's got like a couple hours a day.
This is between season 1 and 2, so right after the USJ incident.
Yeah, so this is before. I mean, this is before he the giant attack on the academy, though.
The giant? No. This is after.
Oh, then he only had 45 minutes after that.
Okay, that's what it was. I thought it was 30 for some reason, but
yeah,
okay.
and in this movie, he was just walking around like I assumed he was pre that big fight. I thought this was him in the same condition he was in like when the series started.
So the reason that I know that is because later on in the movie, when Deku gets the idea to save everybody without encountering the villains, it's because Minette is yelling at him like, do you not remember what happened when we faced real villains at USJ? So that's the only reason because remember they just got handled by like not like the jabroni villains that they fought, but like the real ones like Shigaraki and Kuro and them.
Yeah, so the dimensional guy was pulling people in and using all those artificially created void monsters or whatever.
Yeah, the Nomu.
Yeah.
Which I thought was, however long the series lasts, I would like a prequel series. There's 2 spin-off series I'd like to see. Okay, I'm not gonna stray too far. At least I'm gonna try not to. So I'd like to see an All Might, what he was like, prime, peak All Might. Because when he shows up to fight that Nomu, it's like the most badass entrance. He busts through the door. He slowly walks up like, I got this shit. It's like, damn, get him. The other one I'd like to see. So you've finished the whole anime, right?
Yeah, all 4 seasons.
Yeah. With Lemillion, he was originally supposed to be the one to get All for One from All Might before he met Deku. They say later on that All Might was actually going to meet Lemillion right before he met Deku that same day. I would like to see like a spin-off, like alternate universe series where Lemillion gets All for One and he has his permeation because Lemillion's my boy. That would be pretty sweet, I think.
Now, if this is spoiled already in the manga, then let me know. But do you get the vibes that like one or two of the students from the academy are going to be villains like later in the series?
Yeah.
Like I just cannot get over the Sasuke Naruto vibes from Bakugo and Deku.
Yeah, sure. I honestly think Bakugo's too obvious, and Horikoshi's a pretty good writer, so I don't think he's going to go that route. But the guy that I think is going to end up being and there's all sorts of rumors and things like that out there, but to this point, we don't find out who the traitor is because in the campsite arc, they literally say, "There's a traitor among us. How did they know we were here?" When they ambush him at the camp. I think it's going to be Kaminari, the electric dude.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of theory videos out there. Maybe we should dive deeper into this and do some theory videos. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
anywho, we don't have a real good reason why Deku was invited. I mean, they could have just explained it by saying, you're going to be my successor. Here are the people that helped me, so you need to meet them. Like that would be
yep,
a thing, but I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah, and we slowly meet all the characters. They do a really nice job of, oh, it's you saying the person's name, and we get a really quick glimpse of everybody's personality. I think that you can watch this movie separately without having to ever watch the series and still, follow along. So I don't think I think they do a nice job of just saying, oh, it's this person, and then they do a quick Bakugo's already screaming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I got a pretty good chuckle out of when Bakugo decides, like, he's doing that little training session or whatever, and Deku comes in, doesn't beat his time, but Todoroki comes in and beats his time. And the girl who's like hosting it, she's like, okay, you guys got to move along because, we have more contestants. He's like, shut up, I'm going again. So funny. I get a kick out of him. I can see why he's my wife's favorite, but,
I just always hate him.
Yeah. He does tell Deku to kill himself like really early on, so
yeah. It's just like his anger against Deku is completely unjustified, and no one calls him on his shit.
Yeah.
Like he needs to get like who's the guy that's he's not in the movie, the guy that can eat Eraserhead, the guy that can cancel quirks.
Yeah.
I feel like him seeing this happening in his classroom, like Deku should either be kicked out of school for bullying because you can't have a hero bully. Like, it just doesn't work.
Right. Yeah, it is kind of weird.
Or he just needs to get, like, slapped in the back of the head until he shuts up for an episode and a half.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, if he had name something about his personality other than angry at Deku.
He does have that moment when after they captured him, where they're trying to say, "Oh, join the villains. You're the guy to join us."
Yeah, that's like season 3.
Yeah.
Or is it 4?
3.
Okay, yeah, it's season 3. Like, I've already seen 4 hours of him big mouth anime yelling.
Yeah.
And just nothing happens to him. Like,
at least like Todoroki could freeze him for a little while or something. Like keep him in a block of ice for his little timeout.
So when he was captured and like they were trying to make him evil, I was kind of hoping that like they went that route just so I could see Deku just smack him down so hard.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's a couple points in here where Mineta just had me dying, right? Mm-hmm. So the girls invite Mineta and Kaminari to the event, and they're holding each other, crying because they're both into the ladies, like pretty badly. And
Yeah.
as the girls are walking in, while the guys are waiting for them to show up, Jiro, who's the girl with like the headphone jack ear thingers,
Mm-hmm.
comes in, and she's wearing like a dress but also has a jacket. And they're like, well, at least she's not wearing pants and stuff. Well, like they're busting on her because she's acting all shy and stuff because she's actually wearing a dress, but she's still kind of, looking like a biker or something.
Yeah.
And she shocks both of them. And there's another moment after I'm skipping ahead a bit, but we'll swing back around. Where where they need Mineta to go up in like the vent because there's no other way. He's the only one that can fit up there. They're gonna float him up with Uraraka's gravity situation there, and they convince him to do so because the heroes get the harem. So he's climbing up the side of the building with his balls going harem, 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 harem. It's so funny. And when he lets them through, that Melissa, the main guy or the All Might's buddy's daughter there, she's like, "Oh, you're such a hero," and he starts pumping up the crowd. He's been scared the whole time, like Usopp level scared, and now he's like, "Charge into battle!" because the girl complimented him. It's the dude always has me dying. It's so funny. It's like, I love it. Absolutely love it. So there's the let's swing back around. There's the event, the opening, the premiere event that everyone's there for, and they're starting to make a big announcement, and some villains show up, and their first objective is to capture All Might. And what is their overall goal? Because they take David, Shields, and the other guy, and they want to go up to. Oh, because they want the device that Shields made that amplifies a quirk. So that's the whole big, hubbub.
Yeah, I mean it's a basic, a pretty basic plot. The bad guys come in, they take the city hostage. It's basically Bane.
Yeah.
Ireland is mine. And yeah, I mean, and I think most of the movie you don't really have an indication that Shields is actually working with the villains to try and get his device back.
Yeah. So essentially what happens is he invented this device, but since he was working under, whatever umbrella, Island umbrella, they confiscated it as their own. And he wants to use it to make All Might better again. So his actions are deplorable of sorts, he had good intentions.
Yeah, I gotta wonder about the security system that can only be overridden if you take the entire island hostage. Like he couldn't. I mean, like they're in the top of a tower and they open up a door. Like, couldn't they just get like someone that goes through walls to steal it?
Yeah, if only Lemillion was a bit older.
Yeah, I guess we should note that it wasn't Shields that actually had the idea or even did the plan. He literally just said, "Oh, okay," when his assistant did it, and his assistant was, planning to sell it to a villain from the beginning.
Yeah,
but I mean, to me, the plot is just very by the numbers. It's like, okay, we need a plot so we can have these scenes.
Yeah,
and the joke about and the jokes. It's like, how do we get from beginning of the movie to giant anime fight?
And we do. Oh, there is a giant anime fight coming up. If you thought that after pervy insinuations and floating islands on water that we wouldn't have a giant anime fight, there's a fucking giant anime fight.
It is. Actually, I feel like they have like actually maybe 2 or 3 giant anime fights.
Yeah,
because like they more or less like try to basically have like one where the kids are just surviving, which is a couple of pretty sizable scenes, I think.
Yeah,
and then they have the big show.
Yeah, I do like that, as the hijacking is taking place, Kirishima and Bakugo are still lost because Bakugo is just casually following Kirishima, who has no idea where they are, and they end up on like the 90th floor looking for the party, which, by the way, everyone reacted to it is very far from the actual party. So,
Well, yeah, I mean they've been. Well, I mean, how did they get up there by accident? Like the group,
it's just so great though.
like when I first saw it, I thought that they were lying. Like in this like when the spy in the movie's like, oh, I was looking for the bathroom. Like
Yeah.
when he's like next to the safe with the diamonds in it.
But they were legitimately looking for the party and they missed it by 88 floors.
But how'd they get like up there? I thought the whole building was locked down. That's why they were having trouble going up.
I don't know. So the thing is they were lost before the lockdown started, right? And I don't know how the hell
So
they
they
got
were on
up
the
there.
88th floor.
Yeah.
You think they climbed the stairs like all 88 floors, or were they just pushed the wrong button on the elevator?
Yeah, or they were using the wheelchair accessible spiral ramp that runs through the entire center of the tower.
Just just walking up there.
Yeah. I'm picturing this wheelchair on the way down now of the scenario I just made up. Yeah. We'll see you down there. Yeah, so you want to jump ahead to the big fight finale, which, man,
Well, before that, we there is a fight where who's the guy that has the fire and ice? I call him
Todoroki.
yeah, I call him hot sauce snow cone. And
Bakugo calls him icy hot, and he calls him in this movie icy hot bastard. So
I think he also calls him shitty half and half.
half and half, he does, yeah.
But he used his fire in this one.
Yep.
They don't really like have any. I mean, because he's gone and like he's risk life and limb before to not use his fire powers.
Yep.
Like I mean he legit like almost lets his friends die because he doesn't want to use his fire powers. But in this one, he just does it because the guy has nitroglycerin on him.
That's actually a very good point because he loses to Bakugo in the finals of the uh, like the big special event thinger there that I forget the name of.
Well, that's just a tournament. I'm thinking more about like
Yeah.
fighting with villains. Like I mean, because he was present for fights that they lost,
Right.
and he didn't use his fire, and he can. So, unless you can make the argument that every single fight he was in that they lost, the fire was a bad idea, then
Okay.
and at the very least he can use his fire to make his ice stronger.
Right.
I think if he throws fire in one direction and ice in the other, he gets more ice, if I understand it.
Yeah, and also this is going to be way later, but his dad, Endeavor, has something called prominence burn, but it's too
Yeah.
hot for people without the ice quirk to use. Well, Endeavor uses it, but he can't like max it out. So that's going to be another thing is he'll regulate himself with the ice while he does prominence burn. That's the
Is there
overall goal.
anyone? Is there anyone else in the show that has two quirks? I mean, because he legit has two quirks. He doesn't have a half and half quirk. Those are two separate quirks he just has.
Other than All for One, who's the main villain, the Nomu and Deku, no, not yet. So
You'd think like he'd be locked in a laboratory somewhere being studied.
yeah, you think more people would be trying to like, force their wives into breeding in order to get the perfect half and half. So
Yeah, I mean, fire and ice is a good one, but I mean, if you've got like some sort of time control plus plus any sort of attack, then I feel like that would just be pretty done and done.
yeah, like Hit from DB Super. Remember Hit?
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
yeah, his little time skip.
They never explain how Goku actually beat him. Like, oh, I just read ahead of time. Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You're frozen in time. I like hit. I mean, if he really controls time like that, he should be able to walk behind them and use a cordless drill on the back of their skull.
Yeah, it's true.
And then
Would
just
you
like
hear yourself
release a
getting drilled into, or would it just be a split second, you would be fine, and then all of a sudden drilling head?
I mean, they never really explained how that works in any sort, because if you're moving while time is frozen, you're breaking the speed of light.
Yeah. And also, we had this discussion on our last episode. We had a time-based discussion. So if you haven't watched that or seen that or heard that, check out, I forget what the movie was called. You Should Have Left.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Final battle? Question mark?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, but before the final battle, like they're fighting the guy who controls metal at a really high level. It's like they don't like show him using more stuff than Icy Hot,
Hmm?
but I guess he just uses it stronger because metal is stronger than ice.
Yeah.
And I mean, and he just ragdolls everybody just solo.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody except All Might, of course.
Yep.
Then and of course, then he's running away with the device and the hostages. And this is the scene that really stands out to me. All Might, once All Might gets out of his restraints, he starts running, and he's just running straight up a building. I don't understand how he runs up a building with just having super strength.
Uh-huh.
Like they never show him like standing on the side of a building like Spider-Man, but he does it somehow.
Yeah.
And did I lose you there for a second?
Nope. Still here.
Oh, okay. My computer just blinked.
Oh. No more of that.
He runs straight up the building, goes sky high, and then basically Falcon punches through a helicopter, grabbing the hostage, and then the helicopter explodes. Now, there are two people in this helicopter. One is Metal Man, and two is the pilot.
Yeah.
Now, we've established that that the metal guy is pretty strong. So, maybe there's some reason for him to survive. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything shown that shows that he could actually survive an explosion unless he had time to like wrap himself in metal or something like that. But that pilot is definitely dead.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you messaged me about that, I was like,
All Might kills a dude.
I'm sure it happens more time than they care to admit, but
I mean, they throw monsters at buildings. There's definitely someone in there.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very Marvel in the, like, oh, New York's getting destroyed again.
Yeah. We're getting to what the MSM won't tell you about All Might coming up soon. Yeah, and this fight, you get a lot of All Might. Obviously, you get a lot of Deku, who's wearing the glove that Melissa made for him, so he doesn't, because he hasn't taken up shoot style yet, which is with the kicks. So Melissa built him a little glove that's supposed to be indestructible. Well, mostly indestructible. She said it can take up to 3 All Might punches, which is like 50,000 of Dekus. But yeah. So you get Deku, you get All Might, Todoroki and Bakugo both have big parts in the fight. They kind of do the miscellaneous things, to the side, and there's this really cool. So they're dashing around this big guy who's just turned all the technology on the island into, him, basically, with the amplification device.
He's basically Dr. Octopus times a million.
Yeah.
Just waving metal arms around like a monster or something like that.
Yep.
It's really well animated, and it's really well just put together, and it's an awesome anime fight.
Yeah. And there's this moment where Deku and All Might are running together, and they charge up their fist and do a Delaware smash, whatever smash together. And I was just like, man, could you imagine? Like, he's the biggest fanboy fighting this guy with his hero because he gave him his power. It's like, imagine you're, I don't know, you're growing up and your favorite player is Peyton Manning, and the next thing you know, he's freaking throwing a touchdown pass to you. You know, it's so crazy just to think about that. But I guess Peyton Manning might be a bad example, but you know, you get the idea.
Yeah, it's got to be Tom Brady.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because All Might's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So
Tom Brady's not. Stop it. Catch more of our Tom Brady all-time discussion on Media Men Sports.
A very, very weird show where one of the hosts does not watch sports.
Yeah. He's like, well, I heard of Tom Brady. So
I was like, what's a quarterback's name? I don't think Cam Newton's good anymore.
Yeah.
I guess it's just got to be Tom Brady.
Cam Newton just signed with the Patriots, actually. So, all right, enough of that. So, did I go over the revenue already or no? I don't think
you did, no.
Okay. So, this is per Box Office Mojo. The worldwide in theaters, My Hero Academia 2 Heroes made $21.022 million. So $21,022,724. Do you want to take a guess? I don't know if you're looking at the document or not. What percentage, roughly, was Japan versus U.S.?
70% Japan.
72%. 72% international. 39.2 Japan, which was over $8 million, and 27. What's that?
I was way off then.
Yeah. And 27.4% domestic, which is almost 6 million. So
really, in terms of revenue, these aren't really Japanese products anymore. They're much more international.
Yep. Especially something like this.
Yeah, like American movies are going that way too, but they're still majority America.
Yeah, you'll get, 48% America, 52% world, things like that. But I thought it was pretty interesting because I was expecting, like you did, maybe 70%, 60% Japan, and then, the rest. But this is a really popular show, and I guess I can see why. But one of the things that was interesting to me, I was looking at the worldwide, per each country. It didn't release in the United Kingdom, which was strange. I thought that would be third for sure.
So wait, when you say it didn't release, like, were there theaters showing this movie?
Yeah, all the numbers I gave you were for theaters.
I wonder where those are at. Like, I've literally never driven past like a cinema billboard that was just said like anime.
Really? You don't get you won't get these movies there?
No, I mean, not that I know of.
Huh. Yeah, we had this one. We also had the most recent one, which is called Heroes Rising, and it was right before the COVID stuff. It was like late February, and I was gonna go. I didn't end up getting to it, and then COVID stopped it. So, but what are you gonna do? So this movie is a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. 5,434 ratings now. When I typed this up, it was 5,432. So 2 more people jumped on the train. Okay, so I have 2 ratings, 2 reviews actually, that are a 1 out of 10. You want me to read them? Tick tock, tick tock. Do you want me to read them, or you good?
Yeah.
Oh, you went quiet for some reason.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's super quiet. Okay, so the first one, I put 1 star to balance out Al, those MHA fanboys. He was trying to say all, but he's, slow.
No, just a hate review.
Yeah, this movie's overhyped to high heaven. SMH. It was a disappointment with 2 S's. So don't even bother with the 10-star reviews. Nothing happens the entire movie, and it's on filler level of quality. Overall, it's a solid 5 out of 10. He says it's a 5 out of 10, but calls it a 1 out of 10. As
yeah,
a
he's one
douchebag.
of those people.
Yeah.
See,
It's like,
people like him are why you can't give your Uber 3 stars.
yeah, exactly. I gotta balance it out. Do you? Why don't you just rate it what you think it is, asshole? Okay, and then this other one is titled Really Bad. It didn't like they don't talk about it on the show at all, and is so predictable and basic. 1 out of 10.
Wait, if you dislike anime for being predictable, I don't think
Yeah.
you like anime.
Right? You
No
get
one's
the
ever been like,
occasional-
"What? I didn't see that coming."
Yeah.
You're telling me that Naruto wins the fight in the end?
Weird.
They're going to tell me that
Goku's gonna
Vegeta
power
isn't as
up
strong
and
as
overcome.
Goku.
Yeah. It didn't like they don't talk about it on the show at all, and is so predictable and basic. Wow. There's your 1 out of 10 reviews.
Someone who doesn't know what non-canon means.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this point up too. Out of all the ratings, there were 81 that were 1 out of 10, but only 2 of them left a review. Because with IMDb, you can just do a rating without the review. 1,506 were 10 out of 10s, which I'm probably in the 8.5 range. I would consider myself an MHA fanboy that the 1-star guy was complaining about. So maybe I'm a little bit biased, but you know, I really enjoyed this. I would highly recommend you watch this, and more so recommend the TV series. So as we said before, this falls between season 1 and 2. So go watch season 1, pop this movie in, then go to season 2. How about you, Jeremy? You think this is a recommend?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the better anime movies I watched, which I don't watch a ton of them. I'm usually just going through the shows, but I definitely want to watch the next one after this.